Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. That's the message for today's video. I've been taking a little bit of a hiatus. I do have a good excuse though. I'm not going to make any excuses for not having a ton of content out in the last few weeks, but this, I think, qualifies. I finally got my website done for my real estate photography business. Everything has been leading to this. Basically, I'm coming up on 3 months unemployed, but it hasn't all been in vain. This was one of my goals when I started, and we're finally at the first finish line, basically. I say the first finish line because the business is just getting started. But I got the website, I got the LLC, I got the business license set up for my county. We're pretty much off to the races. So I have a few more jobs for this month, and then I'm really going to lean into marketing, meeting people in person, that kind of thing. But the point of this video is just to impart to you the idea that slow is smooth, but smooth is fast. When I was working my job, I didn't have the drive. I never wanted to do anything when I got off work. I really didn't. I couldn't bring myself to do anything when I was off work. Part of that's laziness. Part of that is maybe some hopelessness, maybe not seeing the fruits of my labor immediately. But having all this time off and being able to plan each step and being able to place one foot in front of the other deliberately, rather than just kind of grasping at what I might be able to hold on to, has made all the difference. That's the thing I want to impart in this video, is like, you may be making slow progress, but if you're making that progress in a focused way, in a focused direction where each step is deliberate, it doesn't really matter how slow you're walking as long as every step is toward a goal. I'm really happy about this. I've been talking about this for a couple of years now. I've been on and off doing photography, basically freelancing, since I quit my previous videography job. I've just been looking for ways to augment my my income by like side gigs and stuff. For a while there, I did drone roof inspections, that kind of thing. That got old. I kind of gave that up, and then I started picking up more and more real estate photography jobs, and I was like, well, this makes sense, and this is something I have an aptitude for, and I kind of like it. I kind of like meeting the people and seeing the beautiful homes and all that stuff, so maybe I can make this work. And that was a couple years ago when I started doing this. It was more just like, well, I'll work for a firm, and they'll subcontract me out, and I'll make a little money. That has slowly but surely turned into, I think I want to do this as a business. I want to start my own thing and grow it myself, rather than be beholden to a company that I may or may not have a high workload with. I'm definitely not going to, working for this company I currently work for, the volume of jobs isn't high enough to sustain any kind of living. Basically, it's at best it's 4 jobs a month. That's the busiest I've ever been with working for this firm. The good thing about working for them was I got a lot of work under my belt for my portfolio that eventually will lead to where we are now, having a business license, having a website, having a Google business profile, that kind of thing, having some legitimacy, if that makes sense. And it came slow, but I worked at my own pace. We've done videos about that on this channel before, where it's like, it's so important to work at your own pace so you don't get burned out. If you're trying to do too many things at once, you're going to get burned out. You have to be able to focus. And for me, it took literally quitting my job and refocusing and getting some rest and being able to prioritize things, rather than just, I'll take a little money here or I'll take a little money there. Now it's, well, I want to make this thing work, and I have to do a lot of research to make it work, building the website, building the Google business profile, those kinds of things. It didn't happen overnight. Rome wasn't built in a day, as I like to say. I've been saying that a lot lately for some reason. Slow is smooth, smooth is fast. It's been 3 months. I've been working on this website basically half the summer. This was kind of the final piece, and then getting the LLC, getting the business license, just making sure I'm legitimate and there's no snags when I actually do start pounding the pavement, do start going to these real estate events, and start going to realtors and offering my services. It's got to all be, things have to be in place. And that kind of goes against some school of thought where people are just like, just start it. Just start it and figure it out along the way. It's like, I'm too much of a perfectionist to do that. I know that can work for some people, but my situation, my proclivity has always been to, I want my ducks in a row before I take the first step. And to take that first step, I had to go slow and strategize. And now the website's up, these things are all in place. So slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Going forward, this is when the real work begins. Up till now, it's kind of been, I can work at my own pace. Now, if I start getting regular work, and then my dad's dealt with this a lot too, we're running his business, you're kind of at the mercy of your customers. You know, you got to make money where you can, and you're kind of at the mercy of the customers that are going to pay you. So I have to have my schedule somewhat free. If it takes off the way I want it to take off, I'll be so busy on the back end that it'll be the opposite. It'll be, okay, I got to go. I got to move fast. I'm going to be beholden to my clients, basically, that'd be a good problem to have if you were just running yourself ragged and making good money, which you can do in this sphere. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. I am considering going back to work. For this fall. I'm looking at how things are in the economy, and I'm just like, it might be a good time to get back to full-time work just to have some security. I'm not hurting financially, but I can see where it's going. And I think now that this one big hurdle for this business is done, I think starting out just working weekends for the business, and then working during the week for full-time or part-time. I would take a part-time job in a heartbeat. Those good part-time jobs around here are kind of hard to find, but I'm not fully committed to that idea. I'm going to get my reviews going on my Google business profile and start reaching out to contacts and whatnot and go from there. And if I'm busy enough to not have to work, then I'll be busy enough that I'm not going to have to work a full-time job. So that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to give you all an update, not giving you the impression that I wasn't doing some kind of good work, which I am. This summer I've been able to work on my own stuff. I took the money, I took the time to rest up, reprioritize, realign, and start heading in a direction that I think is going to be more sustainable for me, because working in that previous job, that was not sustainable. I'll hold my hand up. Like, moving into that office, taking that promotion was a huge mistake. That was a huge mistake. I was chasing an extra dollar, and I didn't need to, and I shouldn't have. Working in that warehouse, I look back on it now, and it was like, yeah, it was a warehouse job, but the pay was decent. It wasn't that bad of a gig. It really wasn't that bad of a gig. Now, when I went inside and I started catching phones and doing that kind of shit, that's when it got bad. That's when I was really just hating life, because it really was like Groundhog's Day in there. So I'm trying to avoid that at all costs. I do have a couple interviews coming up this week. Not say that I'm going to take anything. I'm only applying to jobs that I really see as desirable. Yeah, if you're trying to start a business, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Do not overextend yourself and try to do everything at once. It doesn't make sense to do that, and it just doesn't. And every day counts, and time is the most valuable asset. But you do not want to squander it by stepping on your toes and by tripping over things because you're running as fast as you can. You can only run in one direction. You can only walk in one direction. So just every step should be deliberate. Even if you're walking slowly, it should be aiming towards a goal. So slow is fast. No, slow is smooth, smooth is fast. Anyway, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. Thank you so much for liking. Thank you so much for subscribing. I'd love to hear your thoughts on me going back to work. What are some situations where you took some time off, or are you looking forward to taking some time off? I'd love to hear just where you are in your life and what you're looking forward to. That's another thing that was like, you work that desk and you just don't, I had nothing to look forward to. And that's a killer. You do not want to be in that spot. So anyway, love to hear your thoughts down below. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.